We have an update from East Bay Mud.
Good evening, Mayor, fellow council members. My name is Richard Harris. I'm the Water Conservation Manager for East Bay Mud. And thank you for the opportunity to come here this evening just to give you a brief update on the drought, answer any questions you may have. Let me get this to a full screen here for everybody. I have about a 10-minute presentation. I can shorten that, but we'll go quick. I just wanted to give you a sense of what we're doing and the great response that our community continues to do every time we ask our customers to step up and respond. Wanted to share with you, I'm sorry, I guess I need a page down here. Where are we? Enter. This slide here really says it all. A picture does more than words, as we know. And the image on the left is January of 2013, and the snowpack in the Sierra Mountains that provides most of the water to the State Water Project, as well as the McCollum watershed, where East Bay Mud gets about a little more than 95% of its water supply. This is the same time this year, January 13th, a year later, with the snowpack. And this is an image we would typically expect to see after the snow year, well into the spring and summer. So this is really why the governor announced a statewide emergency initially in January 17th and followed that up on April 25th with additional declarations for state action. I'm going to talk a little bit about what the East Bay Mud Board of Directors have done and what we're doing to reach out to our community. I'm sorry about this. What this slide does here is demonstrate some of the rainfall and the precipitation we typically get. And the upper left is the McCollum watershed. And what you're seeing here is the fiscal year, July through June. And the clear bars is typically what we expect to get on an annual average or a monthly average for the water year. And you can see that we ended 2013 very dry. 2013 was one of the driest springs of record. And then we started this year with nothing near even a third of what we expected to get. So it was getting very dire. In fact, the November, December, and January timeframe was some of the driest winters we've ever seen, and we did see an increase in demand. We've saw what happened here. We had the Pineapple Express storms in the end of January, early February. That was a savior for us. We had 140% of precipitation in February in our watershed. And the lower chart here is the East Bay precipitation in our service area, and it's mirroring very closely what we saw up in the Sierra foothills. And again, February was very good. We got some in March, but it really has tailed off, and basically the precipitation season is over, and what we've gotten is all we're going to get. We did end up with about a little over 50%, both in the watershed and here locally, from the historical average. But after being a third dry year, that's a challenge for us. So as we put that into context, over here, 2014 is on the far left, and what we did is we looked at the 10 driest years we've seen in the East Bay watershed in our community. And so this year is actually, we ended up right around 25 inches total, and that is the second driest year of record for our 80-plus years of record keeping for East Bay Mud, and it's only beat by the 1976-77 design drought we use. And you can just see the other years here for reference. So as we ended the rainfall water year, the actual water year ends officially at the end of September 30th, and then we begin October 1st for the next year. So we are monitoring our supply and demand very closely. But being that it's the second driest, we have asked our customers to step up and to do a few things. I want to point out the third bullet here, and what really helps us in addition to rainfall is what we get in runoff from the snowpack. And typically we would get about, and I'm sorry about the units of measurement here, but 750,000 acre feet would run through the rivers into our reservoirs and into the East Bay. And we're projecting just a little over 250, or about a third. So we need to really conserve what we have now, so we have a little bit of carryover going into next year, because we do not know what next year is going to bring. And so we're projecting that the end of year water year storage is going to be somewhere in the 435 to 440,000 acre feet. And our target, our annual average, is about 600. And our target before we have to take some response in conservation is 500. So we're going to be below that, and that's what we're monitoring today. So our plan of action actually is a multi-pronged approach. The first coming with our board action on February 11th this year, that was also reaffirmed April 22nd, to ask our customers for a 10% voluntary reduction across the board. We are at this point not mandating anything, and we weren't picking reduction rates based on a certain customer class. We just thought we're all in this together, and if everyone gives us 10%, and customers have been responding, we should get through this water year with some carryover going into the next year. And I have a chart that actually will show how we're doing. The other thing is we're advancing our recycled water projects. We currently serve about 9 million gallons per day of recycled water to our East Bay community, and that's enough to serve about 200,000 households. And we're planning to increase that about another 50% by the year 2020 and more than double by the year 2040. One of the key projects you heard about in the press and the media is our supplemental supply project on the Sacramento River with our Sacramento County partners. This is the Freeport Water Authority. This was a designed drought dry year supply project that we've worked for decades, and our community has invested in greatly, and so we're very happy that we're able to put it online this year to use it for the purpose it's needed. And then of course we work with our neighboring water agencies and partners to look at making sure that the piping network and the delivery of water through the East Bay and the North Bay and San Francisco Bay is intertied so we can help each other out going forward. So what this chart shows you is historical, going back more than 40 years of metered consumption from our customers. This is total metered consumption. And what I want to just point out, you can see the 76-77 drought where we asked customers to reduce, and they beat our 25% request with nearly 40% drop. Then we have the typical drought rebound. We had the long-term drought in the 80s, early 90s. Customers responded again when we asked for it. And then we had the rebound that is typical. And then here we are in the recent the prior drought, 2008 and 9, with the economic recession. And again, our customers we've asked them to reduce, and they have. So here we are in this new drought, and we've asked for 10%. So we're not sure exactly where we're going to end, but we're continuing to monitor that. But what I want to show is that we are at probably the second lowest metered consumption since it was back in the 1970s. So we've done a very good job in the East Bay with our residents and our businesses to make sure that we're using water efficiently on a per capita basis.
And is this per capita? It doesn't account for the fact that we have a greater population?
Sorry, backspace. No, and it does account for population.
Okay.
Sorry, since it's not my computer, I'm not sure how to go back here on this, but basically that's total meter consumption, and over that 40-year period, we've actually grown by 300,000 population and about a 30% increase in number of accounts and service connections. So we've really reduced our per capita where it was back in the 70s, over 200 gallons per capita per day, and as of last year, we were at 137. And per capita is it's a difficult measure because we take total production divided by total population, includes industrial and commercial and irrigation, but that's a good metric. Real quickly, I just want to share with all of you some of our water shortage tips and some of the indoor things that we're doing, and we're asking our customers. This is an easy way in a very short emergency to deliver on a 10% request. Even though people have concern, we hear a lot about, I've done all I can, or I've conserved for a number of years. There is usually some behavioral measures you can take that are pretty easy, or look for leaks. We're finding a lot of leaks in our homes as our infrastructure ages and housing stock ages, and this is where they can really help. The one thing I do want to make sure I'm not remiss in reminding everyone, is our board did reaffirm that what we're asking customers to save this year will not be used in a future allocation should we have to go to some mandatory measures if we have another dry year next year. We want to thank customers for conserving now. Outdoor water savings is really going to be a focus for us as we go into the warmer summer months, and that's a program that is actually very consistent across the state of California and our peer agencies. Outdoor irrigation is considered somewhat of a discretionary use, and there is room to stress a landscape without losing your landscape, and this is an area where customers can really respond, and we definitely want to work with overspray and runoff and any water waste. The other thing is we're providing a lot of information on our website. There's a lot of fact sheets and tools. We still have our free device giveaways such as shower heads, aerators, and hose nozzles. There's a free home survey kit. We also have online restaurant table tent cards to ask for water water provided upon request. We have hotel hospitality cards for reusing your towels and your sheets again, as well as gym stickers for gymnasiums and health clubs. One of the things we're really bringing to our customers this year, for over a decade, we've been providing landscape water budgets to irrigation customers. This is where we use some real state-of-the-art technology that uses parcel information, aerial photography, local weather information, and we put it into a smart engine that combines all this information on a parcel-by-parcel basis. And then we print free, customized water budget reports for our customers that tells them, here's what you used last time, and here's a target water budget for the months ahead. And this is something that we're actually planning to roll out to single-family residential customers this year. I won't take any time on this, but this is for you to take a few seconds to look for your favorite rebate program. But we are very aggressive with our rebates. We have to help our customers, and we do have a limited budget. It's not unlimited, but we can focus some of these things with indoor plumbing fixtures and appliances. And here in the green is our bundled outdoor program, where we're really looking on a lot of measures that could be whole home, whole yard, front, side, and rear, and try to do it together. This is probably our richest incentive, where you can get up to $2,500 for a residential account and up to $20,000 for a commercial account. I'm not going to go into detail. We work a lot with our peer agencies, the schools, and these materials, so we have these available for the community, other NGOs, other community groups that wish to have some materials, we can provide them. And as I mentioned earlier, we're working with our peer agencies. We've been working since 2005 on looking at the infrastructure of the Bay Area and looking where it makes sense. We have a number of interties with other agencies. Should there be an emergency, that water could be willed through the state, through various facilities to each agency in need. And we are studying other projects such as regional desalination and so forth, as well as regional recycled water expansion. So that's what I had for you this evening in a quick fashion. I know that many of you in the audience knows that the State Water Resources Control Board had a hearing today, or a board meeting. It's been in the press, and they did affirm some additional regulations that they're calling on all Californians to reduce water waste and prohibit some outdoor uses. It's not official yet. It has to go through the administrative law judge ruling, and we are informing our board. We'll be looking at it internally and addressing what they come out with as soon as it's officially public in the next few days about what we need to do to respond to the state call for action.
Questions
Thank you.
from council?
Yeah, I just had one or two questions.
Yeah.
I have a house that has some, what I perceive as valuable trees, and you said about stressing, is there anybody that you can give a contact person or number to, so I can maybe call that person? Because, I historically water these trees. How do I know how much I should cut back on
Sure.
watering of those trees?
There are a number of resources, and you can even contact our office. We have some staff who are experts in that area, but the Bay Friendly Landscape Coalition has information about certified landscape professionals who work with water efficient landscapes and what we call water management, water budgeting. There's also the University of California Extension that has a plant list that talks about how to deficit irrigate. If they're fairly mature trees, you can really cut back. We're recommending that you water your landscape no more than 2 days a week, and trees no more than 1 day a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was, I see highly efficient, but I travel a lot to Arizona, and they have the dry urinals there. Do you give a rebate for those too?
Are you referring to the waterless urinals?
What? Yes.
Yes, we do. And what we really like to do is work with any business contemplating this, because there's a maintenance issue with that technology, that you want to make sure that the maintenance cost for the cartridges doesn't outweigh the water savings benefit, but there's a way to do that efficiently.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just wanted to ask our city staff what the city has done, any steps that we've taken in terms of landscape irrigation or other steps.
Maurice is not here, but we have met, and we did look at trying to cut back. We had some new plantings that we felt like we wanted to continue to water, especially the ones down the peninsula. But we've looked at what we can do in light of this. I think I had mentioned here a few months ago that you may see the lawn go a little bit brown. So
I was surprised, actually. I was driving in Berkeley on San Pablo today and surprised that the medians were all brown, and I assumed that they've chosen not to irrigate there. Didn't know.
Brown is the new green right now.
Do we have public comment on this item, Ken?
Yeah, just a couple of comments. Yeah, the region has been very cooperative in saving water, so they had to raise the rates because people save so much water. The one thing that really gets me is that if they would just design a faucet that had a little meter to measure how much water you're using, people would be able to really save. You'd be able to look at that and say, this morning I used so many gallons and tomorrow I'm going to use less. And all these rebates, if you would just invest in faucets, in ways of measuring the use of water so that people know what they're using, I think it would be a real incentive. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on this item? No? Okay, thank you, Mr. Harris.
Should I close this out?
Okay, now is the time for public comments.